So we are going to do ruling number 7, life path number 7, whatever you want to call it. So if that is you, welcome to the video. Um, there was a little delay between the 6 and the 7, so I'm trying to get back on track so I can finish out those last few numbers in case anyone's waiting for theirs that I haven't gotten to. Um, Now 7s are really what was I going to say? They're at the bottom, so they're on the Earth plane. So we've already gone through Taurus and Virgo, and obviously the last Earth sign would be Capricorn. And Capricorns, yeah. So what do we know about Capricorns? Um, we know that they can be demanding. They can be pretty um, assertive, like have very, very high goals. Look at that. Justice. Okay. um, and it was saying that they could easily work in the field of law as like a judge or something, and that's carrying out some harsh sentences, which I do find that they do often. But the biggest thing about Capricorns when I was reading, or the 7, I'll say, is the need for discipline. And they find themselves in a position where they're readily giving discipline to others, which is natural for them. They kind of like that a little bit. Notice the chains and the devil card. But restrictions on people, that's very earth. Got to fit in the box. But when it comes to they themselves getting taught or getting restricted, they do not find that comfortable. So it's like you can walk the walk, but can you talk the talk? So it's like, how can you really teach others if you can't lead by example? That's going to be a big issue that we're going to talk about. But 7s have a lot of potential. Obviously, Capricorns can really accomplish a lot because they have huge goals, huge goals. If anyone follows my Twitter, there was a post I put on there a few weeks back about Capricorns, and there was this GIF of some goats, and they were all standing on like this tree on like little branches, and like a goat standing on like a little branch. Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable even climbing that tree, let alone doing that. And I was just like, that's Capricorn, just like where they can find that impossible situation, they're gonna do it. So lots of respect for that, but how you get to the top is just as important as the goal that you're getting, the goal you're reaching. So it's important to do it the right way. That's all I'll say. Yeah. I think that's more so the lessons that they're talking about when they're describing the 7 is the goal isn't always the thing, it's how you get there sometimes. That tells you more about a person. So we have to remember that. So, life path number 7. What do we have for you? Number 7. I'm going back to my classic deck here, just because I think they're easier to see on the videos. I do enjoy the golden ones, but that and the coloration is a little different. If you guys were watching some of my other videos where I was using the golden deck, you can't really notice the colors as spectacularly because of the holographic stuff, so it's kind of harder to see the mood sometimes that they're putting out. Oh, love. All right. Well, we just saw the Justice for a brief second, so she had a message for us. So the 7s, what's the 7th sign is Libra. And when we look at a Capricorn, what is the sign that is in their house, their spot? So Capricorns rule over the 10th house, and when you look at a Capricorn rising, what's up there? It's Libra. So even though this is Gemini card, I feel like most of the times it's speaking more about Libra. But we'll go about this. Libra in Capricorn. So, or what we'll say is there's two sides to this person. There's two sides to this Capricorn. There's the dark and the light, you know. I can't say whether that's masculine or feminine. I think it's a blend. I don't think either gender is better than the other. Um, and yeah, so it's just, you know, we see that duality with Capricorn and the Devil card. We see the same couple, but now they're in a tempestuous situation that could ultimately harm themselves, you know, because they're not in it for the right reasons. Yeah, and so there's a lot of lots of gray area when you get the Devil card, and that means that you're working against yourself, whether it's because you're in an unhealthy relationship or you just tend to hold yourself back in some way. So there's this kind of duality with the Capricorn or the Seven, and we see that here. There's two sides to you guys. So there's the one that wants to accomplish a lot of things, wants to inspire others, and then there's a side that's a little more self-involved, and you're not willing to again, lead by example, show others that you can do what you're demanding of them. So you kind of give mixed messages when you can't do that. So maybe we're lacking some fire, we're lacking some integrity, some honor. So maybe that's going on. So they will have a natural flair. So they will look very inviting, or they'll look like there's a lot of excitement going on around them all the time. So they look very alluring to people. Sevens do. Obviously, we see that with Libras. But really, you know, with the Knight of Wands, it's what all do you want to achieve? Obviously, you feel a deep sense of purpose. Again, why you guys like pick some jobs that are you know, have a lot of meaning, a lot of decisive action. But it was saying that the number seven will take a long time for them to really learn how to do things. They only learn by doing it, and they can't be pushed into doing things. So, as aggressive as you guys can be, you really can't be told what to do. You can't be shown what to do. You have to do it. Okay? So that's an important message if that resonates with you and you're a life path 7. You learn by really doing it. So, but yeah, it looks very inviting with the Knight of Wands and the Lover's energy. But let's see, let's go a little further here at life path number 7. Got some love missions with the Knight of Wands. So you guys may find yourselves in relationship after relationship again and again. Like maybe that's a big part of your purpose or your destiny. But the Knight's always in search of something. He's on a mission. So what's your real mission here? Oh. Okay. I'm going to put that back. Let's see here. What is the mission for life path number 7? I know of at least 1 7, maybe 2, and the 1 7 that I'm thinking of, there's definitely an archetype I can see with that person, and I see it in at least one other person that I know too. And yes, like everything I've said thus far fits for that. They both have Capricorn energy in them, or as one of their dominants. And yes, they can be very, very demanding. But yes, do they hold themselves to those standards when people turn the tables on them? I don't think so. But 7, when we think about 7, the last earth sign, so we can really think about the job too. I've already talked about like what some of the professions would be, but the job would take a big emphasis. Like it's something that would be very reticent of like who they are. Their job would stand out in some way, or they have a lot of high goals for what they want to do with a career. Um, we see that with the Capricorn energy representing career, and so I mean, it could be like so many different possibilities, because we're just thinking of career in general, but it looks like sevens enjoy carrying a sentence or like teaching lessons. So I think that's more so some way that they're going to find themselves in. It also did say that they can get pretty good at practical skills. So they have very technical abilities, like with their hands, and they represent the eyes, obviously Capricorn. So um, look for people that wear glasses or have really good vision. Death card. Um, let's see here. Life path number 7. Um, what was I going to say? Jeez. Sorry, you guys. I'm still waking up. um, they were saying like surgeons, like anything that has to do with like using sharp objects, but in an intricate way. So if you're really good at operation, um, yeah, so that could be good too. So we can go more the philosophical way, towards like teaching and working in like a college or something, doing something with law. Um, okay. Or we can go like more practical way. I mean, the options are limitless. So 3 of Wands. So lots of fire energy. I haven't seen a specific fire sign yet, but let's see. 3 of Wands is you don't always know where you want to go next. And maybe you're kind of pushed to go in different directions before you're ready, and you're just like, no, I just want to kind of admire what I've accomplished thus forth, or either you can't do that, you know what I mean? It's like you get to the finish line and you're on the podium, you're already thinking of like your next move, your next thing, before you can really even like revel in the glory, so you guys gotta it seems like you're never satisfied. Seems like you're always hungry for the next thing. So, which isn't a bad thing, but it can make you restless, and it's just like, are you really doing what you need to if it's never fulfilling? So here, this one I'm glad came up because this is something I do see with the sevens. This is a 5 of Cups, so this is really the hurt card. This is you guys have had tough lives, especially growing up. I find the childhood and like the adolescence of a 7 can be very sorrowful. I guess can be very painful. They've just had very traumatic past, and think of like a Pisces. Things happening like outside of their control, and I think that's why they become so restricting and stuff as they mature, because it's kind of like their way of dealing with it. Almost is like, okay, or maybe that's the lesson that they were learned from those people that were, doing bad things to them, was that. It's just like a natural way of living, when that may not really be the case. It may just be that you were unlucky in your situation. You found yourself surrounded by some terrible people, or some just very unlucky events, a series of unfortunate events with this card. And so, you feel like your cups have turned over, like everything's just spilling out of you. And, it's just, we take a pessimistic side when we look at that card because we have 2 more behind us. And just like with this card too, it's like it's just never enough for you guys. It's like you guys have a hard time, like with a glass half full perspective. And even if you make it sound like it's okay, like truthfully, it doesn't seem like it is for you guys. So don't know if I'm going to draw those two too. Okay, let's keep going here. I want to narrow it down to one. But the 5 is like lots of emotional uncertainty, you know, and if you are carrying those traumas from your past, you're never really moving through them. You're just like allowing yourself to get hurt again and again by those notions, those things that came up. So maybe they continually come up in your life because you haven't dealt with them. And you're diverting your energy into accomplishing these other goals, but you're not taking care of the real issues here. So we see that with the 5 of Cups. But I don't want to make light of your situations. That's a very, very hard energy to deal with, whether it's death, it's separation, you know, it's loss. Like your cup spilled over, you know, like that's some really deep stuff. So I don't want to downplay that at all. You guys have been through a lot. I see that. Now, the Page of Swords, when it comes to intellect, you guys are a little, I guess, naive, but you're a little childlike in the way that you process things. And maybe that's why your childhood stands out so much. You know, you're always thinking of like me, me, me. So even though, again, we find that we can be in professions of deep insight and philosophy, at the end of the day, we just want what we want. And we're not going to let things stand in our way with that sword held high, you know? So it's almost like, come at me, bro. But it's because you guys, not that you don't feel smart, but maybe that just isn't enough for you. Huh. Okay, this one tried to come out earlier. So, Ace of Pentacles, though, I mean, that would be enough for most people. Ace of Pentacles energy. So, time and time again, you guys are going to be blessed by money. Money. Okay, this is great. You know, this will fall in your lap when you least expect it. So, just be ready to receive that and know how to put it to good use, okay? Because this can be very unexpected. Ace of Pentacles, Ace is that hand just coming out of thin air. You know, if we see it with the sword, it's an idea. It's like an aha moment. But here it's just like, oh my God, you know, like there's a $500 bill or, you know, that doesn't exist, but whatever, on the ground right there, I'm going to pick it up, you know? So, but it's like, don't go looking for that stuff. Let it come to you when you deserve it. Yeah. Page of Swords, I will say, reminds me a little bit of the cover on the Gulliver's Travel, where he looks really big in perspective to his surroundings. Like he has like the little people at the bottom. You know, so you guys kind of feel high and mighty sometimes. You know, it's just like in your head, you see yourself accomplishing a lot. You know, you see yourself winning battles again and again. You have a lot of pride. You have some ego for sure. So we already see this wand energy here. But let's go a little more. Maybe we can draw 7 cards. Life Path 7. Surprised we haven't gotten more Capricorn cards yet. So Lovers, maybe 1. Life Path 7. Oh, okay. Makes sense. The Emperor. So you guys, even though that you are Earth, you exhibit a lot of fire and lots of demands. You're pretty aggressive and you are very dominant. So yes, we do see this. This one makes a lot of sense to me. This Ram energy is just going to kick it into high gear. You know, you can knock down a lot of walls. and you're always ready for battle. You see the armor still on him. He doesn't quit. He doesn't rest. He just goes. It's just like pure energy sometimes. And they said that the life of a seven is very busy. So maybe you guys don't know how to rest. There's a lot of, just like with this card, you're just like, even as you're looking upon your success, you're still thinking of the next thing, like what's my next move. So it's just like you guys don't know how to relax, that kind of thing. It's just like always next. You feel like this. Maybe that's the only way of staying stable, is to just be working towards something big all the time. It never stops for you guys. Um, it's always business. So the Emperor, we see that you guys can amount some serious power with the Emperor card. I mean, even like that's the card you would see a lot of times with like a president or like somebody in a big position to do a lot. So it's up to you to use that power for good. That's your thing. So but the Emperor can be very aggressive, very domineering, but he also wins battles. He got to the throne, so he's a force to be reckoned with. And lots of struggle, though. Lots of struggle in your life, but it doesn't look like um, you're really afraid of it, because those mountains are huge and high, and it's like blood red sky. That means that like lots of anger, lots of rage. Um, I don't know if you guys can really subvert that. I think I will say for sevens, it does take a lot of understanding on the friendship spectrum, because sometimes I'll see it and I'm just like, oh, like it makes me a little uncomfortable sometimes when I see that rage come out, and it's just not channeled, or dealt with in a way. So lots of lots of that. Like I don't know how to handle this energy, so it just comes out. But I don't know. You guys need to find a way of um, just being okay, being stable, um, and you just have to like try to enjoy the moment if you can. It just seems hard for you guys. Like your mind is just like, what's next? What's next? What's next? So um, Capricorn is like that. It's very calculated, very calculated. It's just, I think because you guys from an early age didn't feel like you have control, you constantly seek it. And control to you is accomplishing things, it's getting on a podium, like where you can kind of issue um, decrees of control or whatever, to others. So I'm glad we didn't get the devil card, because um, that card does have a lot of negative attributes. So you guys have the capabilities of doing a lot of good, winning a lot of battles, personal struggle, overcoming it, but really just don't carry this energy with you. Move past it. Everybody's got a past that they are unhappy about, okay? Nobody likes their past. It's the past for a reason, because we have to move forward. It's like, and looking for that stuff time and time again, or dwelling on it, is just only going to hold you up. And I think that's what's happening. It's making these successes unfulfilling. Um, it's just like it's never going to be enough to delete that stuff. And yeah, it's true, but you're not you're not dealing with it. So I would find a way to deal with it. Find a way to forgive. Because obviously that stuff is out of your control now. It's happened. So um, yeah. But lots of love, lots of love. So relationship energy again and again. Um, Knight of Wands, you're very flamboyant. You look good. People are attracted to you. You kind of have like a philosophical way of speaking, that's connecting to people. It seems very spiritual in nature. Um, but yeah, just you know, if you feel aggressive, if you feel like you know, you're the shit. Sometimes you have to be stripped of that feeling to realize it's just like you guys have a lot of power and luck. So don't take these things for granted, okay? That's my only message is, yeah, you don't always have to have the biggest dreams and goals out there if it's not right for you, or if that's the sole intent. It doesn't even seem like it matters what the goal is sometimes. So learn how to relax, learn how to channel that energy. You know, do some sports, do something physical. That always helps, like with dealing with pent up rage and stuff, is exerting it, because we have so much going on in our mind that we have to channel it through our body and push it out of us, and that's really big. I need to do more sports because as a fire sign, I have a lot of that. So, um, yeah, but maybe that's a good suggestion. But yeah, pretty cool. So 7 cards I ended up with. If you guys have any questions or you want some more clarity, let me know. All right.